Welcome, I am Hafid, and in this video I will be unboxing another X Particles project and their content repository. And for this video I have decided to do the Vertex map Curvature. If there's a specific one that you'd like me to go through, just let me know down in the comments. Once again, I want you to think of this video as an unboxing. This is my first time reaction of opening these project examples, and my goal is simply just to understand how they are made so I can apply those principles and techniques to my professional work. This is not a tutorial or a master course, but it's just me wanting to learn more about X Particles. I will link my portfolio and my Instagram in the description, so if you're interested in watching, let's go. Okay, so this is the render example that comes in the project file, and this is what it's supposed to look like if I just press play, let it run, and render it with Cycles 4D. So I'm gonna close this, zoom out a bit, get on the camera, and I'm just gonna press play. Now out of the box, this is what it's doing. So all I can see that is like a crystal base structure, and there is some square particles coming out of it. So I'm gonna start opening everything up just to see what there is inside. I like to start by disabling the lights for a moment and then just opening the XP system. I'm gonna minimize the modifiers and disable them, minimize the utilities and disable those as well, and also the groups and disable those. And right away I'm gonna take a look at the XP emitter and just see what it's doing. So I can see that it's already emitting from the object, and that object being the XP join, which is here in the utilities. Scroll down and it's this object right here. Now in my last video I assumed that this works just as the connect object here in Cinema 4D, so I'm going to stick with my theory until proven otherwise. So yeah, is that XP join basically connecting Crystal 1, Crystal 2 and Crystal 3 models. But what is interesting to me right now is the tags that they added. Since this is the Vertex map Curvature project file, I am assuming that they're using some sort of Vertex information to drive or to generate some of those particles from the emitter. So I'm just gonna go and click on the first tag, and all I can see is that there's this VM source. Well, now to think about it, it's Vertex maps, right? So let me go to the next one, and here is the Vertex map that is gonna be used to create those particles, I assume. Now, how do they create that Vertex map? The next tag is just the gradient for the material and the crystal itself, and then a cycles object, which works similar to an octane tag object. Now, I still don't understand how they created this Vertex map, but I can see above that there's a XP Vertex map utility. So I'm gonna click on it, and I'm seeing that it takes objects. So for those objects, they put the XP join, and then they are adding the curvature. And this is where the Vertex map source comes from on our first tag. So I can already see that everything is created from this utility Vertex map. I'm going to deactivate it, click on the Vertex map, and yes, we cannot see it. So I can already see that it comes from there. So I'm going to activate it again, and maybe just the XP join by itself. I'll click on curvature, and I don't see much change. Maybe when I start emitting those particles, I can see it. So let me deactivate it, see if anything. What curvature are they using? I don't know what they mean by curvature. Because you know, crystals they don't have a lot of curves as far as I know. They're pretty edgy, and they also have different modes besides the curvature, so I'll probably play around with those as well. I'm gonna press play so far, and this is what I'll be getting. Particles are just being spawned at certain places, but I still don't know why they're there. Okay, I think I kind of get it. So wherever this mesh is, I guess, curving, even though it's not like a smooth curve, wherever it's changing its angle, like right in the points of the crystals, you can see that there's a lot of particles being spawned, whereas like in the surface there's really not that many. But once again, whenever those angles are changing, that Vertex map is telling us that the particles should be spawning here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and activate the modifiers, open them up, and we have an XP infectio and an XP scale. So I'm gonna deactivate the XP scale and see what the infectio is doing. So it seems that it's just taking away those particles that were generated. And if I click on the XP infectio, it's on independent mode, and it's using the incubating group and the infected group. So I'm gonna scroll up, activate those groups, and see what's inside of them. Now the initial group has a number of 4. It's in standard mode, and they're being colored black, maybe to simulate that those particles are not activated. Now the particle group infectio is group number 3, and instead of being plain filled like the other one, they're just in plain, and they're colored green, probably to simulate that they are activated, I'm guessing. So let me go back, play it again, and I don't see much happening. So let me go back and activate the very last thing, which is the XP scale, and see what it does. And that is pretty much it. We are emitting from these crystal objects using the XP emitter. And then with the Vertex map utility, we're creating a Vertex map based on the curvature that is in this mesh. We are then using an infection modifier to spread out the growth of those particles with an XP scale and just simulate that growth throughout our object. And that is how this Vertex map curvature is working out. I am now going to experiment with more of the parameters, the materials, and the lighting, and I'll show you what I come up with. Alright, so those are the materials that I ended up using for this composition. I was thinking of using a different object than the crystals that came with the project, but I actually like how they look, so I just rearranged them in a different way. Now for the infection particles, this is not the final material. I just added this so you can still see them, and you will be able to see them once the animation is done. But I decided to actually add a emitter. I'm gonna deactivate the generator real quick just so you can see the animation. I wanted to create something subtle, but on the big crystals on the left and the right. So throughout the animation, these are gonna move. I'm gonna stop it right there, come back to the XP generator, turn it on, and I'm gonna start Octane again. And that's pretty much it. You can find the final animation on my Instagram account, along with all my other accounts, my print shop, and my portfolio. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I accept any suggestions because I'm still learning this. But if you're learning with me and want to see something very specific the next video, just let me know in the comments and I'll just do that. Just let me know down in the comments which project you want me to work on next. If not, I'll just pick the next and we'll go from there.